Okay.
Okay.
You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, 2020 MSB.
Well, first show of the year.
Yes.
It's been a long winter, and I'm so happy to be back. MSB. Last year was year one, and this year I'm excited to tell everybody and all the viewers that Max will be more involved than ever. Last year he made a few appearances, but now full-time, full force.
We're excited to be part of it. I'm not wearing the hat the whole time today, sorry. Very excited. We got a new camera aboard here, learning a lot about it. We got a pre-draft show. It's not just a pre-draft show. It's actually, we're smack in the middle of 2020.
We kind of started the draft selection already, and we're going to break down to the viewers of where we're at and what we started with and who the captains are, names of the teams, where they're slotted in the draft. There's so much to break down.
A lot of new stuff as well. First things first, this year we're choosing to go 7 teams. So it's going to be
listen,
the competition is going to be a lot of fun.
The viewers at home know that M&S Night League and Deal is always 7, and last year we did 8 because there was too many people. The demand was too strong.
We didn't do 8.
Last year in MSB we did 8.
MSB.
And so this year we're saying, you know what, we're going to go 7 for the Brooklyn League. We're going to mimic and replicate what we do in the Deal.
So we're going with the same concept, the same way we run the league, the same way it breaks down, and it's something we're very excited about. We're filled up. Registration went out.
We're actually
overfilled. Registration went out early February, and within a week we're done.
Literally,
so very excited about
48
that.
hours after registration opened, I had 75 people registered.
Now,
which is pretty impressive.
A big thing about this year. Last year, the main blurb and the main talk was about the Dubs. Was about all the new Ashkenazim that came. Some panned out, some didn't. We're excited to have some back. Where
a lot of new ones also.
A lot of new ones in. The guys that aren't here, we love you anyway. Go have fun elsewhere. You're missing out. But the thing about this year, I think the goal and the main talk is youth. There's a lot of youngsters.
I actually, on my Excel sheet, when I looked at every single person in the draft, and I did the average age, is under 30. So that's actually a pretty exciting thing. It's 29 years old, which is the average age of the person.
It translates to a lot of good outfielding and a lot of question marks, which is going to lead us into what the show's all about.
For sure.
Now, this show, mainly the captains suck it up. I've heard captains like Stephen Gindy in the past and Joseph Ferrati got sick of doing our voice because they watched the show countless times and their wives can't stand us.
100%. We're one of the most hated people.
Yes, they can't help it. They listen and because they're trying to get all the scouting reports that were given out. This is for everybody to watch. Yes, you captains at home.
So
listen with a keen
One thing on that. This year there is I would say, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of the 7 captains, obviously David Sabaga is going to return as the World Series champion.
But was he really a captain?
So last year, some say it was Steven's team.
Right.
Sammy Esses was a captain last year for Major League. They infamously lost after their magic carpet ride, and Mark Cohen just
the meltdown in the
melted
playoffs.
down in Game 3.
I was there for that.
He was cruising. But every other captain, it is their first time being captain, and that's something that we're excited to.
And I think their first time in any league. Because they're such babies.
Right.
When I was 20, they weren't conceived yet. So, I mean,
so
this is, we're talking really some youngsters.
Interesting. So, I will tell you. So, first captain, new captain of the Death Eaters is Elliot Mann. Elliot Mann last year was on Major League on that team we were just talking about.
Elliot Mann's actually one of the older of the youngster captains.
No, yes and no. Some of them are about his age. But
he's married with a kid already.
He's married with a kid, sure. I think a lot of them are. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then we said Sammy Esses. The name of his team is Newman. Oh, by the way, before I even start, every single team, the theme this year were villains. Right. So the Death Eaters is from Harry Potter, as we know. Newman, Seinfeld. And third team is David Sabag's team, like we said, last year's champion. The name of his team is called Globo Gym. That's from infamously the Dodgeball movie. And the next team will be Eddie Harari's team, young kid.
Dun, 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 dun.
The Evil Empire.
That's right.
Following by Morty Shrem. His team is the Jokers. And then Hank Dweck on the Kakambas last year will be captaining the SCAR organization.
Going back to his Disney days.
Yep, and listen, he's probably just saw the movie. He's that young, like you said, right? And then finally, Hannibal Lecter, last year's Cy Young winner, also World Series champion, and
one of the most unassuming.
He was amazing last year.
One of the most unassuming great players, I'd say.
Dan Braun.
You see him, you see this chubby, nice guy.
So chubby.
Maybe not so chubby, little chubby, like me. But he gets out there and he's just all about.
So you're round. You're not chubby. He's pudgy.
He's like me. He had really cute hands. Yeah. But
wears his ring all day, by the way. Always wears his ring. In work, his wife's like, take it off, never takes it off.
So his wife doesn't take off their wedding ring.
That's right. That's what he told his wife. It's my ring, right? He says.
Okay, so that's the teams. And just to know, this is our, this is going to be our home.
Yeah.
This is going to be where we broadcast. We're going to have 2 locations in its own, depending on what the family's doing. We'd like to thank the Levy family.
Yeah, so our sister Vera Levy is graciously hosting us, and we want to give a little bit of a plug. Follow her on Instagram. What's your Instagram? Healthy with Vera, and you can find all of your health tips. Just follow her right now. And on Facebook. And give her a like and give her a follow.
They're up to
and
all
that's
the
enough
hours.
with Vera. Let's back to softball. So anyway, back to where we're at. So now we're going to run through a list of a lot of new young players, like we said, and some familiar faces.
Right. We don't want to bore everybody, but we know some of you want to hear your names. So let's
Everyone wants to hear their names. Are you kidding me?
Nobody said my
Stop
name yet.
it.
Anyway, first name on the list
Max.
is an oldie. An oldie, but a new guy. We haven't seen him in a while. I remember playing with him in tournaments back when he had hair. But Joey Barsano.
He had hair?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Joey Barsano, I think he was born bold, I love Joey. Joey's a great hitter, lefty, first baseman. Now listen, Joey Barsano is no longer the best Barsano in his family.
That's the amazing thing.
So
he's always a power bat.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, he played, I remember, in M&S 2009, he won a World Series with the Mariners.
Wow.
If you remember that. That was a long time ago. It's over 10 years ago.
So that's the question with him. Did age come to him? Did it hit him in?
Last year, his son, Mark Barsano, he was playing third base in the World Series team, and he was coaching every single game with his little straw Cotton Eye Joe hat, so we know he's still involved in the game.
So he's in it, and he knows the game, and we know he still loves it. But he hasn't picked up a bat or fielded a ground ball.
You never know.
In about 4 or 5 years.
He's in great shape, though.
So as I said, you see him, he looks great. He's definitely doing CrossFit, and maybe he's on Healthy with Vera's program. He looks great. But that doesn't always translate on the softball field. Well, your hamstrings get...
He's not young.
And he's not a young guy. I don't know how old he is. I don't
actually, I'll tell you how old he's 49 years old. That's how old he is.
Oh my gosh. He's not 50. We'll say that. But he's in great shape. And I still think he could hit. But he's definitely not moving on the bases, and I think he's going to be a little ginger in the field. He's going to be careful. 49-year-old. So good luck. Welcome back, Joe.
I think he'll be okay. I think he's in great shape, and I think you don't forget how to swing the bat. And he's.
They might have to use their slotted runner. That's all I'm saying.
It could be. And now
on to the next.
Let's go down a rookie. I'm actually name you 3 rookies in a row right now. We're actually in the first base position. We're going to go by position. Next player is Robert Beta.
So usually, naturally, when a guy says I play first base, it usually means one of 2 things.
He's either huge.
Either he's a tremendous human being, or he's just really good with the glove at first. But usually there's bigger guys at first.
Right,
and it's understandable.
Sure. We're going to see a bunch of them, like the average size is like 300 pounds, 6'6", like a bunch of linebackers.
Big men.
So Robert Beta, you know Robert Beta?
Yes, yeah, you don't want to be in front of all these guys on a buffet line. But Robert Beta, I heard this kid really goes to right field well. Since he found that he needed glasses a couple of years ago, he came into the cages and he's been ripping it up.
All right, so it's funny you say that because he forever would never go to the eye doctor and he would never, even think. And then all of a sudden, like you said, I think he picked up like his nephew's glasses, put it on, so he could see better.
And it worked.
Went and he's been playing great, and he's been
the ball.
Been a player.
He's a young kid.
Yeah,
not at all. He's 20 years old.
20 years old.
So these young guys have a lot to prove. Coming into a league that's not easy to get into. And they're getting their opportunity. We want the youth to
That's it. It's a youth movement. We started last year. Obviously, there are token veterans that are going to have a guaranteed spot.
And a guy like Barsano, for example, coming back, he's an earned spot.
For sure.
He's a man playing in the league for 20 years. So now, Joseph Bissu.
That's the next player in the
Another big guy.
Joe Bissu. Talk about big. Joe Bissu is like huge. He's like 6'6".
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big boy. From what I was talking to the Hebrew Hammer, who's Joe Bissu's good friend.
Okay.
And Hebrew Hammer said he went with him to the cages a few times, and this kid could really get a hold of the ball. That's a fact.
He's one of those guys. If he does connect pitchers, watch out. Again, probably not so fleet of foot, but if he could put the ball in the outfield he'll find his way on base.
More of eat your foot than feed the foot. Next player we're going to talk about is Isaac Schrem. Isaac Schrem or Ike Schrem. This is Morty Schrem's brother.
Now, it's funny. Is he a big guy or not?
He's actually older. He's 30 years old.
Oh,
he's
much
older.
older. Because Morty's maybe 110 pounds soaking wet.
No, so this guy, he has a nice, majestic black beard. Remember this kid?
Oh, yes.
So this guy,
he looks like Moses coming down from the mountain.
I actually saw him on Coil one time when I went to go watch the games over there, and he's got a good stroke. He's actually a good player.
Okay. So looking forward. So he might be a guy you have to assume he's on Morty's radar, unless they're having sibling rivalry. But I would assume not. So I would imagine Morty's looking at him. I don't know where and when.
Listen,
so he's on his draft board, I'm sure.
Isaac claims he also could pitch and he also could play a little infield. So
interesting.
So he's a little versatile.
So we do have the pitchers. So if he does choose to do that, that could be interesting.
You never know. So
you never know.
Either way, next player, veteran in the league, always the consummate professional. He's actually ripped, and he's always a guy that's a 4 or 5 guy in the lineup, RBI machine, Adam Cohen.
Amazing.
Last year on The Usual Suspects, he had a little bit of a down year for his standards, but even that was pretty good.
So he's a threat every time he comes up to the plate.
He's got such
I only
strength.
watch this guy maybe 4 or 5 times. Whenever I do the games from Brooklyn, they come to deal, I'll help umpire, and every time this guy steps up to the plate, you see everybody in the field, Adam's up. He's
Adam's
worth
a guy. Listen,
he's worth being talked about.
He has stature. He stands in the box. You fear him as a pitcher.
Again, he's not a young guy. He's at 47, but he's a 47 I call younger than others because he doesn't miss a step. He plays every year and he doesn't miss an inning.
And he's also ripped.
And he's in good shape. So welcome back, Adam, and I'm sure you're hiring a lot of
next player, he's not only a first baseman. We actually saw him do a lot last year. A super utility guy.
Who owns at first, though?
And we saw him at first base our whole life on Fridays, but A.B. Dweck, he actually could play all over the field. Right field, even throw him in left field if you have to in a pinch.
I think A.B. might be high on people's draft boards, and I'm going to say I think someone might overdraft him. Because he got on base a lot last year. Looking at the numbers, he finds his way on, but he doesn't do it gorgeously. He
has that Jotarian opposite field.
Yeah, he goes the other way, but he's a baseball guy. Runner on second, nobody out, he's going to get the runner.
Right, and he's the weatherman.
And he is our weatherman.
Everyone, let's just for a second, everyone, thank you very much, A.B. Without you, we have no idea what we're doing with the weather.
It's 9 years now, and I maybe give A.B. 50 messages in the summer per day, just if it's a cloudy day. So
he's the doctor.
He puts up with us.
Then, interesting one over here, Joey, the Hebrew Hammer Dweck, coming off a fracture in the forearm.
We both saw that live.
It was nasty.
It was in a World Series or a playoff maybe, and he cracked his forearm practice swinging.
On a swing, in the practice swing.
In the on deck circle. It was something very weird. He actually came up to hit and got a hit. When he came up,
and then he was just holding his arm.
And then you saw him turn white, and his arm was hanging. If he didn't have that injury, I'd put him up for my top vote getter for batting average, batting champ.
Really,
I really would.
He's been hitting the ball hard. He is the hammer after all, and we know he puts the work in. He's in the gym all the time. He's in the cages literally 8 days a week. So Hebrew Hammer. Listen, I don't know how he's going to come back from injury.
That's the question.
And then
I still would give him a shot because this kid's a diehard.
I mean, like I said, he's in the cages all day, every day.
He really, he gets paid to be in the cages, it looks like.
Next up on the list is Hank Dweck, the captain. We don't think I talk about Hank. Hank's an animal.
He's a beast.
He's a captain, so we don't talk about him anyway.
Welcome back. A big welcome back now. Mr. David Gadiloff, tall lefty.
Gaddy last year had a little bit of a hiatus. He had a hamstring issue.
Age unknown.
Unknown. Yeah, that's what I put over there because I don't know how old he is.
He won't tell us, or maybe he doesn't know, but David Gadiloff, welcome back. He has been a winner in this league for years. Last year had the year off. From what I hear, he went backpacking naked in Europe for about 2 months.
It was Europe?
It was Europe.
It was Europe.
So he's back now and looking very much forward to play. Says he loves to play everywhere. I think he's better suited at first base.
I think it's a mistake if you put him anywhere but first, but if I say that, he might shoot me, so I'm not going to say that. So
he does carry.
Yes.
But he's a winner. He's a winner. He's been in the dance plenty of times.
Sure. And he's come up big. He's come up big.
He's not a loud guy. He's a quiet guy. Wears those goggles.
Silent assassin.
Has a look. And he's been a batting champ in this league. I remember him playing, people for a long time.
You know what's funny? His first time playing ball, he actually was a call up from the Mets. This is the truth. I'm not even BSing right now. You're laughing. He played the outfield. What are you laughing about?
Who told you this?
In the Grapefruit League.
Right, David told you this.
I'm not joking.
Okay. No, I'm not joking. He said it.
Go on Baseball
Right.
Reference. I'm dead serious.
This is
Said he's still good.
Yeah, next up, I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Next up on the board is David Harari.
So now, David, I'm going to say something I don't usually say, but it's for David. Last year, he sucked. He was terrible. He was just flat out awful.
He was a captain, and there was too much responsibility on his side.
I think that's what it
and
is.
he couldn't go out there and just go a flat out hit like
He deals with a lot in work, and God bless him. He's a hardworking guy, and he has his wife and kids, and he just wants to come on Sunday and chill. And I think last year, Sunday mornings for him, he didn't realize dealing with 11 guys with egos.
He also made like 38 trades, so I don't know.
Oh my gosh! He didn't like anybody. He traded everybody. He didn't know. He had a tough year, and I really think, as much as I said you were terrible, Dave, I think he's gonna bounce back tremendously.
I think he might be a candidate for.
He's a lefty. He likes first.
Comeback
He's
player of the year.
athletic. He could be comeback player.
No, it's fine. I'm looking at it right now. We have David Harari, David Gadaloff, Joey Barsano. Those are 3 lefty first basemen. Isn't that interesting?
Well, lefty first base is like a.
Yeah, it's a thing.
You know, not Alonso. He's a righty, but lefty first base is the way to go.
Next up on the list, another rookie, Ross Levy. He's 6'4", this guy.
Yes, his wife's name's Rachel.
That's true. I don't really know much about Ross.
He's 6'4".
Yeah, it's pretty big.
6'4" is a big man.
He's a big
Going
boy.
back to the beginning. He's a rookie. How old is he?
He's
32.
32.
Okay,
So yeah, he's not a kid.
Not a kid. Not many know about him.
No, he's Ross.
So I haven't. He's not lost. He's
Ross.
But
He's
he
Ross.
might get picked later. He could be a steal. I mean, a guy like that,
You
a
never know.
32-year-old,
So I know
6'4".
he was on Morty Shrimp's team in Coyle, so I know he's on Morty's radar.
So some people may know.
That's
him.
how he got in the
Some people
league.
may. In other words, it's not his first time playing baseball.
David Harari played against him a few times.
So-
Joseph Arati played against him a few times. Guys know.
Okay, so maybe I don't know him. These guys know him. Maybe he's something. I mean, he's 6'4". I mean, maybe
6'4" is 6'4".
You should play football.
So yeah, regardless, next on the list is a
Plays
guy
basketball too,
that I'm
doesn't
actually
he?
very high on. Last year on the Sandlot, tough year all around for that squad. As everyone on that team just, it was just a bad start to the season. It just
This guy
snowballed.
looked great in the cages last year. Before the draft, he sent videos to me. Maybe too many, to be honest, but sent a lot of videos of himself in the cages. Looks great at first. The guy's got a real glove.
Akiva Alex Madnick.
He was playing third base too.
He was one of the one of the dubs that came that actually returned, and we're happy he returned.
Yes.
So, Akiva, welcome back. Big fan of yours, and
So now-
also he's a great teammate. One good thing about him.
So
he's a good
some
teammate.
people say you get the sophomore jinx. I think he got it out of the way the first year. He was on, like Sammy said, a tough squad. He had some personalities last year. I'd rather not talk about that team.
Clash.
The pitcher, and he's not coming back. That
No,
pitcher.
you
Great
know
ball
what?
player.
I actually wish he was back. Iris Us,
Iris Us, yeah.
next year. I just know he and Joe S. They just didn't see eye to
Right,
eye.
there was something that
it was
didn't work.
hook
Great
that
guys,
next year.
just sometimes two good people go on a date and it don't work, right? Same idea. But they were on a team that just clashed. I think this guy's gonna, if he's in the right spot, forget it. But in general, he can't, he's gonna have a better year than
Next
last.
up, a guy last year that had a down year, and it was shocking to everybody. He was drafted high, and we know he has the skill. He's by far the best defensive first baseman of the bunch. Is Mark Richter.
So it's fine. I can't believe he had a down year because when he played in another league that I played him with him, he was tearing the cover off.
And no, he was tearing the cover off the ball 2 years ago in MSB. He was great.
A lefty that goes all fields.
And he's a gap-to-gap hitter.
Yeah, sharp eye at the plate. By the way, I still have no idea how his voice sounds. He don't talk. So
Exactly.
He's,
He's one of those guys. I love him. And
Yeah.
speaking about a guy with no voice, we're going to go to the exact opposite. Mark Sabag, Mouse. Mouse, big personality. Welcome back to the league. I actually was teammates with Mouse dating back to 2010, I believe. Blood, sweat, and tears. We actually went to the playoffs.
Yes,
And, big fan of Mark's. He doesn't look like he's a good hitter, but when he gets in the box, he's a professional hitter. And
knows
he
what he's
actually
doing.
has a pretty good glove also.
Did he play last year?
No, he hasn't been in the league
Right.
for a bunch of years. So
So
Mark,
welcome back, Mark. And also a young guy, 28 years old. So
I think he's on Eddie Harari's radar, I believe. I think they're
Okay.
friends. Next on the list is Sammy Sarfati.
I always have a nice piece of my heart for Sammy because the first time I met him, we were in a tournament, we won.
Big hit he had.
And he got a big hit, big guy as well. So a lot of big guys in our league.
Yeah, I
this year.
think the average weight is not equivalent to the average age. So
No, definitely not.
So it's just not-
Yes, if
we might need help with Vera, by the way.
Whoever's running the canteen here, you got a big job. But Sammy Sarfati could play third base, could play first, He is sly with his brother Yoni.
Correct.
Who
on the mound, listen, Yoni, we'll get to him when we get to him, but he has all the talent. He actually throws a knuckleball. We'll get to him later, but they're playing together. Yeah,
let's do it now. So let's talk about it now. Yoni's the first pitcher we're going to talk about. Yoni is the tale of two people.
So last year, Yoni comes to the game. He'll throw like a dominant game, strike out a bunch of guys, making him look silly on that little bit of a knuckleball. But then all of a sudden he'll lose the plate, and he'll be the first to tell you. He had a knee issue. He's wearing his brace. I think he'll be in a little bit better shape this year. So just FYI, Sammy Sarfati is moving to Florida after this season.
Really?
And this is his last year.
This is his sayonara season.
And this is his last year playing together with his brothers. So they want to make it count.
It's touching. I'm almost crying.
So that they were unsure to play. I told them, listen, play together, and you guys make it count. And it's going to be a special season for them. For better or for worse.
Very nice. So
yeah.
They're going to do it every time they're at the city. We're going to talk about it and give him a farewell.
For sure.
But Yoni is the tale of two pitchers. If the guy comes to play and he's focused and he finds his release point.
He's a damn good hitter, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we know he can hit. I played with him a few times. And finding control is a tremendous thing. And maybe having a second pitcher. I always feel this. These guys that just lose.
We do have extra pitchers in the draft, and it might be a good idea
to
combine them. So we'll see. Next on the list is a guy that we're going to find out if he's actually playing. He's finding out in his schedule. I'll mention his name real quickly. Is Murray Towell. He actually was a World Series winner last year. And Murray, we'll find out from him soon, so I'm not going to talk much about him. Good hitter, very good hitter.
Barry Anthony.
Next up, B.A. Barry Anthony.
B.A. He's been playing since I can remember.
4 hours born.
Yeah, sure. Great hitter. Always a good hitter. Never fleet of foot. Could play a good second base. And I think what's keeping him in the game, aside from the love of the game, but he's with his son.
Yeah, for sure.
He's playing with his son.
Listen, I can't speak about that yet, but and you maybe soon, but being on the same field with your son, and he's been playing on the field for 25 years, as we know, and now all of a sudden having a son, actually a pretty good player, up-and-coming player, that definitely keeps you motivated.
Let's say it straight. Last year they did not play together.
Oh, they did on the
They
sand
did at the end?
It was a disaster.
Was it on the disaster team?
Disaster.
Does he want to play with his son again?
No, he does.
They
but
split up.
I think he was happy to be a DH last year because he was watching his son play.
Okay, so maybe that's a match made in heaven. So whoever's going to pick him is going to get each other together.
Next up on the list is somebody I definitely want to give a big shout out to. He had an unbelievable rookie year. Is Richie Ayala. Ayala
second base, right?
Yeah, second base was Gold Glove winner on 12 Angry Men, and Richie was just a flat out filthy defender, really good hitter. He had to carry his team for a bit.
He's in a great shape, and he's one of those guys that just looks fluid out
So we know he played on the hardball team in college.
Yeah, there's so many guys that played hardball that I played with.
But it translated.
They didn't his translated.
Yeah.
He looks on the field.
He was on Maccabi.
And he picks up the ball and it just looks right. He looks fluid. And last year, he is Deadpool. He's got to learn how to go the other way a little bit. But defensively, he was really tremendous.
Yeah, he's unreal. Next on the list is a former batting champion. I believe, it's funny, Stephen Gindy, David Sabag, and this kid Albert Dweck, that's Heber Hammer's first cousin, were all on the same team. Going into the final week of the season, they all three were vying for the batting title.
That's very cool.
He went 6 for 6 to end the year. They went 4 for 6, and he actually stole the title.
Good for him. So now Albert's an unassuming batting title winner. He doesn't usually go so high in drafts.
No, you know why? Because he doesn't really get slotted in a position. Like, he actually could play a pretty decent short center field.
He played catcher a little bit last year.
He's willing to do whatever it takes. He's a really good boy also.
He's an Anthony boy, so he's available for all you women out there.
Is he? I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe not.
I don't know. If he's not, whatever. Next on the list is David Dweck, D. Listen, he's a good line drive hitter.
So David won a World Series already in this league.
On Magic Grits.
On Magic Grits. Last year, did he play?
He played last year, yes.
Okay, so he's an underrated hitter.
Yeah, he is.
He never goes for pop, and he's got that Dweck swing.
Yeah, he hits the line drive hitter, and he comes up with big hits. He actually comes up with big hits.
He's got ice cold, what do they call that?
Ice water in the veins.
Ice water in the veins. There you go. It took me time.
Next up on the list, second baseman, 28-year-old rookie.
So I know nothing about this guy.
I know nothing about.
No,
listen,
you the guy you went to dinner with. No,
I did.
No, it was Matty Kafka. I thought it was him. So Matty, you're an unknown for us.
Matty Kafka was one of Dan Braun's guys.
I know he's 28.
He played on the team with him in the Five Towns, and there's a lot of politics that would happen in that league, and basically there was one or two players that jumped from their teams that caused a whole team to disband, and all those guys that came over to our league. And listen, I don't know if they're good. I see
this as one of two things: either he's terrible and he got cut off that team in the Five Towns,
unreal,
or he's so good that Dan Braun brought him in.
Yeah. Could
I have
be-
no clue.
I don't
Take
know.
your chances, guys.
I don't know. Really, it's unknown. Next, former captain in the league last year.
DT, he's great.
Last year he was a captain, co-captain with Sammy S. on Major League. That infamous meltdown that we talked about. Won the World Series the year before on Magic Grits. Listen, he's one of those guys that's always in the playoffs.
So
He
DT
can play everywhere.
Right, so that's the key about DT. What DT can do great is play everywhere. He's great at second, can play first, be a spell guy in the outfield. So he's really great. And he's a silent winner, but one of the things he brings to the table
He's not too silent.
One of the things he brings to the table that I love is a little bit of his Uncle Norwood in him.
Oh, a lot of it over the years.
He stays quiet and he's smiling, everybody loves him, but then when the game gets chippy, he's the guy in the on-deck circle that knows exactly what to say.
He's a Gold Glove second baseman. He's a Gold Glove first baseman.
Yes.
He can play left field. DT is one of those all-around guys.
And I'm major on DT for another reason. People don't remember about his bat. You could take a guy who's hitting great, you could take a guy but when it comes to crunch time and he's at the plate with a runner on second and 2 out, he's gonna find a way to get that run.
For sure. He's a professional.
DT is a guy who would be high on my draft board if I would draft him.
Next up, we touched upon him before, but we're going to talk more about him right now, is Mark Barsano. Mark Barsano was the hero for the World Series team last year in old school. I don't know if you remember.
It's funny, was he really hurt or was he hurt?
No, he had 2 huge triples.
Yeah, it hurts, but he couldn't play third in the finals because his arm was all
I
messed
do
up.
believe he had like 9 ribbies, and they were all in big spots, and he was like going to be the World Series MVP, but like you said, he got hurt. And then Dan Braun just took him home, and he ended up taking that. But
So,
it's
funny. Everybody's talking about Mark Barsano's amazing arm. So I was so excited to see him throw the ball across the diamond. And I came there, and he had an issue with his arm. He pulled a muscle.
He's okay. I spoke to him. His
He's
shoulder's
fine now.
okay. But let me tell you, this kid's an up-and-coming. He's a lights-out defender at third base. Big fan of him. I think he's one of the stars in the league.
This is going to be one of those tear shedders, watching him throw the ball across the diamond to his dad.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice. On to the next
True.
young
No,
guy.
really is. I'm very excited. And Mark's only 18 years old. Imagine
Yes, he's
he was
amazing.
17 year last year.
Yes, he really is amazing.
Next up is the polar opposite in age. We're talking about Wedge. I am Wedge Cohen. Wedge is 40.
Why would you call it polar opposite? He's not like 100.
No, he's 48. So
Yeah.
one's 18. It's a big
For
difference.
all you 48-year-olds, I'm sorry. But Chaim Wedge had a tough year last year. Now, the question on Chaim...
Another Sandlot player. I feel like
Wow.
anyone that had a tough year was on that squad. It makes sense now.
So maybe that makes what I'm about to say not so true. I was going to say, Chaim, maybe it's time to hang him up.
No,
You're
Wedge.
48, you had a tough year.
Wedge, I'll tell you what about Wedge. He has all the right. He used to be a star in this league.
I know. I watched him play third base.
He used to be a
and
star.
make every play and hit really well.
And
but
he, think about it. Imagine you're a 47-year-old guy last year on a really tough team, and he was willing to move anywhere. They said, go to second base. He went to second base. Go to short center. Went to short center. He's just happy. Has his lick in his mouth on the bench. He's happy to do whatever you tell him to
Alright,
do.
so that makes me a little easier to go draft a guy like that. And you say maybe it was on a tough team. So hopefully a bounce back year for Chaim. Good luck, buddy.
Next up on the board is Ray Esses.
Ray,
another
another
former
guy.
captain.
So there's another guy that hopefully and he said it to me. Hopefully him not being a captain
Will help his game.
is going to help his game because hitting wise, Ray usually is up there in the league leading walks and finds his way on. He's been having a hard time. He has been having a hard time.
By the way, underrated.
Yeah.
Since he lost all of his weight, he hasn't been the same hitter.
I think that's a big part of it. I mean, sorry to all those out there that promote weight loss, but I think he needs
No, you can have weight loss, but it's muscle. I think.
Right, so that's a thing. He's been with Sammy in the gym a little bit now.
I've actually been with him the last 3-4 nights in the gym in the center, and I'm watching him do some training and watching him do some.
And this is not even a joke. He's bulking up.
He is.
And he stayed fit, and he stayed with his weight loss. Maybe he wants to put on a couple pounds.
Couldn't hold plank for more than 10 seconds.
Right. Benny's is open until 12 tonight. But Ray Esses, he plays a good third base. Could play second or short center if his brother Sammy
But
wants
he's
to
a guy
draft.
you want on your team when you draft.
So that's the
him.
thing.
Sorry.
Ray knows baseball. He knows, and you know what better? Let me say it better. He knows softball. It's not always the same. There's a lot of different nuances.
Oh, we know that.
And there's a lot of different people, guys that only know baseball, watch softball. There's a lot of things you got to do differently. And Ray's good at that. And Ray's good at keeping the team together. Yeah.
Well, last year, Cobra Kai, they actually came together late,
They were
and
very good.
they made a nice run, and they were close, but
And
not
the
nice
night, and
enough.
the night
They
league
were in the
year of the
semis.
year, he did really well.
They
with the
lost the
Swifties
world.
squad.
They lost the eventual World Series
World Series
champion.
champs, right. So, Ray, I'm looking for a bounce back here offensively.
And while we're talking about Ray, let's segue to his brother Sammy,
Yes.
who is a captain in this league. So we're really not talking about his draft stock. Sammy, as we know, has sneaky power the other way.
I love how he goes the other way often. But he doesn't, he gets on.
He has pop, and you know what? He's a really underrated defender. I'll say people don't give him the credit he deserves at third base.
That's because of his look. He has that. I mean, truth is, he lost weight as well.
Right? His look. What does that
Sometimes
mean?
he has a look that he's not playing great defensively.
He tries hard.
He makes every single play at third. He really does.
No, I think
I've seen him play short center great as well. Last year, I want to give him credit in the night league. He sort of captained that team that was in trouble. Jackie Talbot.
Yeah. He stepped in to be captain.
He stepped in.
The Yankees. Yeah.
Really brought that team with his leadership, him and Teddy Ishak together to another level.
You know what's great
That's why
about
I'm happy
Sammy
to be captain now.
Anytime he gets a hit, the other team has to go, Newman! It's great. So excited about that. So next on the list, we're going to go through the catchers. And listen, Danny Shabbat, I don't know much about him at catcher, but I know he can play a little first base as well. And then we're going to go to a guy that's been in the league forever. We love him. He actually brings his son to the game, scores the games for us, is Coney, David Cohen.
By the way, David, I love you, but I even love you more with that.
Yeah, he's unreal. And you know what? He's a student of the game. He's one of those guys that just loves to be on the field early. He was the last guy to leave. And
he won 2 years ago.
And he's a guy.
He's a champion 2
also,
years ago.
the most Ademi, nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Sweet guy.
I love when he tries to grow his goatee and make him think he's cool. But
he tries to gain a few years on that.
Yeah, I know. I love you, Dave. Next up on the list is David Masselton, big guy. That's actually Joe S.'s brother-in-law.
Really?
Yeah, big, tall, thick kid.
They're not guaranteed to be together.
No, not at all. I don't think they care to be together either.
Okay.
Next on the list was last year's Gold Glove winner Albert Mastery.
So this guy made a couple of plays.
No, he's ridiculous, that catcher.
I mean, little guy, he jumps out of the crowd.
He whips up the mask, diving.
Wearing that old Yankees t-shirt.
The same old t-shirt.
Same one. By the way, you got to wear uniforms this year.
No, he does.
I want to see that.
Well, by the way, the uniforms are fire. I sent it out to the chat. You guys probably saw it. That's a mock-up design.
Credit to Mokass helping out.
Yeah, Morris Casson, thank you very much for all the hard work that you do.
Always helps us out.
If you're watching this, love you, Mokass.
Always.
Anyway, next catcher. Sorry, not catcher. Next on the list, he was actually in the draft last year.
Oh, not.
No, he's in the draft last year. And for some reason, he had to pull his name out.
Okay, so.
But he witnessed his two brothers go head-to-head in the World Series, Jacob and Richie Ayala.
Now, the Ayals, we love them. Okay, we love the
This kid's an
Ayals.
athlete, man.
Starts from Isaac Shasho. We knew Jacob.
Yeah,
and we love the Ayals. This guy, I think he thinks he's too cool.
No, he is pretty cool.
Okay, is he pretty cool?
You know, he's dating Jackie Towell's sister-in-law. They might be brother-in-law soon.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, sure. I hope that's true.
But it is. I was just talking to Jackie before.
Nice.
So actually, this kid has all the talent. Has the talent enough to be the first rounder.
Really?
He's a really good outfielder.
So the only thing we hear, he's speeding fast.
He's unreal.
Real outfielder. I hear he can control the bat real.
He's committed. He's committed.
That's the question.
He saw his brothers go head-to-head in the World Series. He came to the World Series.
Is he going to go out with his girlfriend until 3 a.m. and wake up late?
Hey, we've seen guys do that and come and play amazing.
Okay, that's what we have to
That's
hope.
what it is.
So Red Bull is getting a plug right now. But he's got the talent, and we...
So he's a rookie that I think might be going
out.
in the second round. I think he's
Okay.
that talented.
I don't know if his name was really mentioned in the second round, so maybe he's going to be a later steal.
So if you remember, last year when we were doing we had a two-man freeze on top.
Right.
He was one of the pairings in the second round.
So I'm surprised nobody brought up his name to me.
I think they're all keeping a tight lip on that.
Okay.
And not talking about his name.
To me, he's 23 years old. So
next up, last year was on the Cucumbers, David D.C. Cohen. He is a multiple-time winner of the
David's just a great
Sportsmanship
player.
Award.
He's a great player to have. He's another guy who keeps his mouth shut. And he plays his position well and gets on base enough. So he's a guy, and you know what? He could play center if you need him to.
Listen, I think
he's Gold Glove and left.
It's funny. He actually won Gold Glove in M&S in left field.
Yeah, so he was phenomenal.
Yeah, and we know he plays a really good center field. Played last year for the Cucumbers.
He stays in good shape.
Like this year, we're a lot deeper in the outfield.
Yes,
there's a lot of good outfielders.
Now David's 33 now. So 33 years old.
He's my grade.
Right, so he's still young. He's not and from what I hear, he stays in amazing shape.
He actually had a baby recently, Mabruk David. It was last season actually. So she's actually 1 year old. Mabruk on that.
Delicious.
Next up is a kid we're really excited about.
Now, this is my. I thought rookie, but
no, he won the World Series. He won the World Series 2 years ago.
This is I think he can explode.
No, he had
so
a good year
much
in the night league last year.
Yeah, so I think he can explode so much so that he may even be my opinion, this year, if it works well, MVP candidate.
Wow, that's high praise. How do you play in the tournament, by the way?
So in the tournament, he
was
played
okay.
very well. In the tournament,
Hey, we're talking about Aharon Cohen.
Aharon Cohen. I played against him in the finals in the tournament. So Aharon.
Are you saying he has the talent of his brother Michael?
So Michael is a first round talent in any league, first pick overall. I know Michael's dying to hear that. He's probably going to play that on a loop, and he wants to hear it. And he's allowed. He's really that good.
Used to
Aharon,
be.
yeah. Now he likes golf.
Now he's fat, out of shape, smokes too much. Whatever.
Yeah, he's in clopite and all that stuff. But Aharon is in great shape.
Yeah.
Flies.
And he wants to be great.
Now, I love what Stephen Gindy did, and I thank Stephen Gindy for it. Last year, Sammy and I said we want to put this kid in center field, but we needed somebody to go out on a limb and put him in center field.
Exactly.
And Stephen gave him that opportunity.
He played for him back-to-back years.
Right, and he passed the test.
And then
he passed the test with flying colors last year in the night league. So now, coming out this year, I think he's going to get a center field spot.
And guess what?
I think he's going to lead off and bat over a 500.
He's 19 years old.
Yes,
also,
and he's a big. Well, his lineage, or should I say, his blood, all he comes up from is winning amazing softball athletes.
Yeah,
whether it's his dad or all his brothers, and I think he's next in line, and I think he's going to show it this year with flying colors.
Sure, and next on the list is another really good defender in center field. I think he's going to have a little bit better year with the bat this year is Leo Esses.
Yes, I saw him play twice. Great defender. Haven't seen him hit a lick.
Wears his
drive fit,
shirt open with the chain with the backwards hat.
Yeah, he's a nice kid.
Got the look.
Looks like he's 20 years old. How old is he?
He's 23.
Okay, so right in the ballpark. All right.
Next off on the list is Yanki Itzkowitz. Last year, wow.
There's really, you don't have to say anything.
No, he came into the league like a bat out of hell. He was unreal.
Just say Yankee Itz. He's got a great look. He looks professional.
He's
got
everything.
He grooms his beard before the game for sure.
I think it's painted on. I don't even think it's real.
It looks so perfect. It's
so
ridiculous.
Everything about Itz is what you want in a first rounder. He's got the leadership. He's got positive mojo about him, and he's just an amazing player. So
he's one of those quiet leaders, like the Jeter way. You know, he doesn't talk that much, but he just leads by example.
And he played. I think he's the.
He's probably the best.
Joe West is gonna get mad at me. I think he's the best center fielder in the league.
A lot of people think he should have been first pick overall. Yeah. So yeah,
some would say we'll get to the draft in a minute. By the way,
right? So unbelievable. This guy. There's really not much to say. If he just does what he did last year,
the same kind of review that you were giving for Aharon Cohen, I'm gonna give a very similar type of pump to Alan Jamal. Alan Jamal, 20 years old. He exploded onto the scene in the night league this past summer, and I think he's going to carry over and get a center field job over here.
I think he deserves a center field opportunity. If he doesn't get it for sure on left or
whatever. He won Gold Glove for me in right field in Brooklyn.
He's a real athlete, but the only thing I don't know about his bat. That's the thing. He's going to have to progress with the bat, but defense alone wins games, and his defense really deserves a high
draft pick. I'll tell you what, though, he's a softball junkie, though. He plays in every league possible.
That's a great sign. You do that, you're going to become better and better. So, and he's in great shape as well. Looks like his dad. I was just telling somebody, and good looking, real good outfield, tall guy. He's like 6'3".
Yeah, he's big. He always wears the white pants and the white shirt.
He's got the look.
He's got the curly Jufro going on over there.
He's putting gel in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Next up on the list is Elliott Mann, captain. Elliott last year in Major League had a really good year. I'm very excited about his captaincy this year.
Oh, he already, even though we're going to get to the draft in a minute, he already is showing suaveness.
Yeah, he made a very nice trade. Yeah.
He's showing he's got baseball acumen and he's having a good time now. So
I'm excited. We know Elliott forever. Yeah.
So
next up on the list is a guy that had a down year last year. I think he's going to bounce back strong. 2 years ago, people were saying he might be a first rounder, might be one of the best center fielders in the league, in Abraham Rudy. Rudy, he just forgot how to hit last year. His defense was always there. I think he's going to bounce back. He's working hard. Abraham Rudy's still a young guy. Abraham is, let's see how old he is.
31.
Abraham is 31 years old.
So he's a younger guy. I haven't seen much of Abraham. I just heard he had a really bad down year.
And he'll be the first to tell you also.
I think someone, if they're going to get him in the third round, would be a steal at this point.
Yeah, and you know what? That's where he's going to go. That's where he's going to go.
And then he's a good pick. I mean, there's a lot of good center fielders on the board, so some of them are going to end up in left. Which, if a team gets a center fielder and a left fielder, one of these guys...
You know what? I know David Sabag and Elliott Mann may be thinking of putting themselves in center field. So Elliott will automatically move guys to left.
So Elliott Mann made it clear that he wants center. Sabag, I think, can do it.
I think he's capable.
Very cool, old lefties, but I think Sabag could do it. Sabag doesn't have to do it. I hope he doesn't put himself there because he's wanting to do it to be the hero.
If he's in the 7th round and he sees a guy like Alan Jamal there, I think he's just
$1,000
going to
there in the 7th round.
I think he's going to make himself
dance on the
over.
ceiling naked with Lionel Richie.
Next time.
But dancing on the ceiling. Sorry.
Okay. Next on the list is Natan Safdie. Natan had a really good year last year with Cobra Kai. He had a few weeks where he was Player of the Week. So
Natan came out to hit last year.
Yeah,
people were questioning his offensive ability.
There was a new Natan. He just didn't give a damn.
Yes, he was a little bit he was on a tear and like the heck with everybody.
Literally.
And ever since he took that mentality on the field,
he grew up here.
He grew.
That's what he did. That's what he did. Before that, he was too passive.
Natan was taken early, just to give you a sneak peek into the draft, and he's a center fielder, and he can bat anywhere in the lineup. He's one of the fast. Even when he's eating and he's not in the greatest shape, Natan is one of the fastest human beings in our community.
He's lightning. We know that. We had that race last year with all the balls.
Any ground ball in the infield, even if it's to the right side, any fielder's got to rush their throw and make a perfect play, and that usually gets him on base.
Next on the list is Isaac Sasson, last year rookie. I think he definitely will improve. He showed good signs in the outfield. He's streaky with the bat. He definitely has to be a little more consistent hitting, and he'll.
20-year-old young guy.
He's a kid. He's a kid, definitely a kid, and he can play. I think he can get a center field job and do a good job with it.
So he's not going to get a center field.
He won't, but he could. I know in Coyle he did, and he actually did a really good job.
So if you're saying he can play center, put him in left or right. I mean, like you said, our outfielding's deep here.
And very deep.
I don't remember much about Isaac. I'm sorry, Isaac, you didn't put a big imprint on me, but looking forward to see what you do this year.
And then next on the list is the consummate, usually de facto top 2-3 player in the league, even top one, is Joe Ciferati. Joe S. We know Joe S. He's Superman.
So Joe S. Secretly works out 4 hours a day. He says he never touched a weight in his life, but nobody has.
He claims he was born with pecs. That's what he says.
I heard that he wanted to walk around 3 weeks straight without a shirt on, but his wife stopped him from
No, I think it was his manager in
maybe.
It was something like that.
He's incredible.
No, he's a beast. He's a beast.
He's a beast. He's unbelievable in center field. And a thing about Joe that I do want to point out, he went out of his way this year and said, I do not want to be captain.
Yeah.
Okay?
Not only that, he said, I don't want to have any responsibility whatsoever. I want to come to the field, do my thing, and get out of here.
I happen to love it.
I
think he's going to come and tear the cover off the ball.
I think so, too.
He's going to let out any aggression he needs to let out. He's not going to have to coach kids. He's not going to have to deal with lineups. He's going to come and play ball, and that's going to give him the MVP.
I agree.
I think he's going to be the MVP.
I think he's definitely, one of the odds-on favorites of winning MVP.
But I think that's what's to me. I said there's a lot of candidates. I think he's going to tip it because of that. He's got a lot less to worry about.
Let's get through the list. Next, we're going to start dealing with these are infielder / outfielder Jack Beebe. We know Jack has a ton of pop. Also, sweetheart kid.
He's Ibn Hashem, the kid.
You want to put him at catch, you want to put him in the infield, you want to put him at short center, you want to put him in right. You can do it all.
Sneakily fast for a guy that says his knees hurt.
And he wears his bionic braces. Yeah, I love Jack. Jack
great hitter. Dead pull for the most part, but gets big hits.
And then next, last year, Vic Busu, Gold Glove winner at catcher. Again, he could play shortstop, Vic. I've seen him do it.
Vic was on that tournament team with me, the CARE tournament we won. He's unbelievable at catcher.
Team M&S.
Team M&S, that's right. What a catcher he is. He keeps a pitcher in a rhythm. He sets up. He knows the game like we've been saying. And he can hit.
Yeah,
he's very hard on himself. If he's not hitting exactly the way he wants, he's very hard on himself. But he's great to hang out with on the bench, too.
I love Vic. Vic's a great guy.
We had the barbecue with him. I loved it. Vic was great.
Next on the list, Danny Shalhoub, infielder, holds his own at second base.
Yes, so he played Night League, so he actually could play a little bit outfield, but I think he'll find himself on the infield.
I think he's more of a second baseman than he is an outfielder. Next on the list is a guy that last year on the Cucumbers, he actually filled in for literally everyone on the team that was missing. You put him in left field, he was actually pretty good.
He was
put him at second base, he was actually great at second base. I even put him at short on my team 2 years ago on that Met team, and he was also pretty good. Ellie Harari, this is David's younger brother.
I think Ellie's best suited, if someone gives him a second base job, he's going to win Gold Glove.
Well, we already saw
right there.
In the spring league in Jersey, he won the World Series and played a lights out second base with you. So
that's right. So he really's got a great glove. Offensively, he's dead pull as well, and I always think guys like him got to learn how to go the other way a little bit, but he's a great guy to have on the team.
Next on the list is younger Moko. Moko has a ton of power. but he also swings from his heels and sometimes pops his hamstring when he swings. That's how hard he swings. So,
Moko.
you know Moko?
Kids League last
No,
year?
our friend Moko. He was in
Moko.
Moko, you know Moko.
Sarway.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Sarway.
Oh, I didn't know he's back. It's great.
So he was there last year.
Yeah.
On the Kakambas last year, by the way.
That's right. So I love Mara. So Mara's always a good outfielder. A lot of power.
I think his outfield days are kind of behind him.
Okay.
But he can definitely hold his own a little bit. You put him in left field. I think he's better suited for maybe right. Maybe you could put him on short center. I think he might be good for it. But he's got a lot of power.
Yeah, when he gets a hold of one, that ball could take off, man.
That's for sure. And next on the list, rookie David Feldman. Again, if I gave you a scouting report about him, it would be a complete lie. I really don't know much about David Feldman.
I saw him last week in Slices, and I sat with him for about 45 minutes. Very, very nice kid. And he seemed young. How old does it say? I didn't even ask him. He's 28.
28. Okay.
He looked younger than 28, if you ask me. And he said he just loves the game. I said, where do you play? He wouldn't tell me. He says, I just love the game. So I don't know what to make of that. He just loves the game.
I don't know much about him, so I can't really.
Good luck, David. For those of you who want to buy him pizza, he likes eggplant.
Eggplant slice.
Eggplant slice.
Got it. Next is Lawrence Kurtz. Lawrence Kurtz had a very good year last year. Up and down year last year, actually.
He's a name that came up a lot. I don't know why. He was a topic of conversation.
You know what it is? Because in the combine that we had last year, he actually showed up and he actually played really well. Okay. And he carried it over somewhat to the season. Listen, he was young. He was a rookie. Lawrence Kurtz.
I think in one of the night league games, either shot to right. There was a big home run.
Could be.
In the night on Coyle when the MSB played at night.
Yeah, we had the Thursday night special.
Yeah. So I do remember his name coming up a lot.
Yeah,
sometimes, so sometimes it's for better, sometimes it's for worse. You know, you drop a pop-up in the lights, you get known also. But
Lawrence Kurtz, he's got skill.
I think he's only going to be better. He played right and he's a young kid.
Yeah, Lawrence Kurtz, he's definitely got skill. He actually could hold his own on left field if he need be. He was on the Ducks last year. Next on the list is Ray Levy, veteran in the league for the last, I would say, 7-8 years.
Wow.
You could put him in left field. He actually lost in the World Series 2 years ago to, I'll tell you what team he was on. He was on Menachem Diamondstein's team with Joe S. He actually held down left field for that team, but he's a guy. He's a professional outfielder. You know what you're getting out of him. He's pretty quick, and he's one of those annoying guys, pesky guys in the batter's box.
Okay, he's the only Levy in the whole league, I think.
And his name is Ray. So next on the list is Mikey Shama. Mikey is actually a Instagram sensation.
Yes, let's get a pepper and talk about Mikey for about a minute.
Mikey Shama, Mikey's Movie Club. He actually takes his hot peppers, puts it in his mouth, reviews a movie while he's suffering. It's actually the most
very funny.
I cry of laughter every time I watch this guy.
Yes, I cannot wait to have him on the show.
He agreed to come on.
Yes, we're going to have a show one week where he comes on, eats a pepper, and goes over all his games.
So yeah,
but
I can't wait.
I cannot wait. He's a funny guy, and he looks like a great guy to have on the team.
He's a lefty. He could hit. Yes. He actually led the league in triples a few years ago.
He's only 22 years old.
And he's been playing for he was on Club Going Up in the night league when he was 18 years old.
I remember him from that.
He was catcher on that team.
So
next in the league is a rookie, Joseph Zakai. Zakai, he's related to people that can play ball.
So let's say it. I mean, it's not easy to get into the league. At the last
in the 11th hour.
11th hour, the book was closing, and he found his way in.
People vouch for him. People vouch.
We'll say
Joey Levy said,
right.
I think it's his wife's cousin or something.
Yeah,
and he said
like
that
the Spaceballs thing. My wife's cousin's brother's aunt's best friend's
But
roommate.
he said,
but
by the
plays
pool,
with my children,
and
he swings the bat.
You know, he keeps score watching Met games at home.
Right.
He's one of those guys.
So that
he
can
knows
either
the game.
mean total nerd or he's really good. We'll find out. But I heard good things.
He claims he can play the outfield, and he was on his high school team. He's not that old. He's like 24, 25 years old.
He says 26 over here on his
Okay,
report.
he aged a year since I last saw him. And listen, I think, I don't know. I think he'll be okay.
We got good vibes. Sometimes we feel good vibes. Good vibes sometimes just mean we have a stomachache, but let's find out.
So next on the list
good about it.
is a guy that I think if you give him an opportunity and bat him 3-4 in your lineup, he probably will lead the league in ribbies. Is Joe B. Joseph Patesh. Joe, over the last 3-4 years, this is A.B. Patesh, the wolf of Coney Island's son. And Joe B. is a ridiculous hitter. He's got power. I think he needs to hone himself in a little bit in the outfield. Probably best suited for right field, even though he played center field.
Short center field. Could he play short center?
Great.
So I think that's where you get him.
But this kid,
because you've been talking about his bat for 3 years now,
this kid.
and I feel like he's never talked about enough. And everybody says when they see him, he hits well. I remember a good friend of mine who played with him, Max Antar. Who was in the league, said this kid Joe's always in the ball hard.
He's a good hitter. I'll tell you, he's a really good hitter. Next on the list is Victor Schrem, professional. He's no dick. He's a good guy, Vic. Next on the list is Morris Esses. Morris Esses.
Oh, you skipped a bunch of guys.
No,
number one, Victor Schrem is an underrated. He works the count.
Listen, and I think he actually, somehow, some way, every at bat, it's 3-2.
Oh,
starts
he
off.
works the count deep. He's like, who always did that on the Yankees? The guy I always liked.
Chuck Knobloch?
No, they made the shirts for him in the bleachers. What the heck's the guy's name? Come on, he was a fun guy in the Yankees.
Nick Swisher?
Nick Swisher, thank you. Yes, like that.
Next on the list.
Very happy you got that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why you thought of that.
Isaac Chazanov.
So Chaz, last year, was a man on the mission. He played short. He played second. He played a little outfield. Used to be a great center fielder, but he was comeback player of the year last year.
So Isaac Chazanov is one of these guys, at his age, defies him.
He's 49. He plays like he's 29.
Yes, he's like I'll say what it is in a funny way. He's like Ike Mavora is in our night league.
I think they actually won multiple championships
They did.
together.
They're very friendly together. They love each other. And Isaac just stays young, and he knows himself. He used to be an outfielder, brought himself to the infield. From what I heard, he even played some shortstop.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
and
he actually really good shortstop.
And he knows the game, and he's a great teammate. So he's a great guy to have. He's like a mini captain type guy also.
Right, he's one of those veterans. By the way, you think he's one of those quiet guys, but he definitely has his voice heard all the time.
That's good. He knows how to get under people's skin.
Next on the list, Morris Esses. Morris Esses actually was in the league a few years ago.
I know nothing about you, Mo.
He's a good kid. He actually can put the ball in the bat, and he comes up with pretty big hits every now and
You
then.
put the bat in the ball too. That'll also be good.
Yeah, is that what I said, or I said something else?
You see the ball in the bat.
Well, that too. It's fine. Next on the list, Ellie Koenigsberg. Ellie Koenigsberg, he's got more raw power than probably anyone in the league.
So I think he came into the league last year. Everybody thought he was going to be the best, and I think he thought that too.
He's a World Series winner.
I think he pressed though.
He's a World Series
He is
winner.
a World Series winner, but I do think he pressed. And by the way, he's the best looking softball player in the league.
He's got the look. He looks like
He is like Mickey Mantle.
Definitely has the look.
He's tall.
Built. He's a lefty, right?
Right. He's a lefty. In the World Series, he hit a couple of nice shots to left center.
But I'll tell you one something about Koenigsberg, though. He is also one of the most humble people you'll ever talk to. He'll never, so yeah, I can play anywhere you want me to play, bat me wherever you want,
Do
just
whatever
open
you
his
want.
mouth. And also, he keeps score on the book all the time. He's a good guy.
It's a great stuff. Great to have him back in the league, and I see him as a candidate of MVP.
Next
we
on the
mentioned
list,
a few of them. He's up there too.
Next on the list is somebody that didn't get a fair shake in the outfield last year. He had to rotate with a bunch of guys. This year, I think he's actually, if you put him at first base, by the way, I think he's a really good glove. Is Aaron Levy.
That's our nephew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he here?
He's
No,
not
he's
here.
actually not
His
even
mother
here.
walked away.
Aaron could definitely hit. Aaron had a huge hit.
Tremendous. Was it a triple or a grand slam?
Grand slam. Game-winning grand slam
What
or
a
something.
shot he hit.
Young
over
kid.
the outfield.
Young kid. And he's
so he has
23.
sneaky power, comes from good blood, and okay.
I hear he has great uncles.
Oh, he does.
I hear that.
But what you call it, Aaron? I'm looking forward to having him back in the league. And again, I hope he gets put in a situation where he does get more playing time.
I think
I really do.
He definitely earned it. If guys saw him last year, he definitely earned it.
He could play the outfield, could play a little infield, and he's a great kid. He's just an easy-go, happy-go-lucky.
Happy to be
also
there.
an available bachelor.
Yes, ladies. Next on the list is Joey Levy. Joey Levy, welcome back. Last year was co-captain with Melech on the Ducks. He's actually traveling a few weeks this year, but we know what you get with Joey. You put him in the outfield, he gets the job done. You put him at catcher, he's a gold glove catcher.
Gold glove catcher.
You put him, you bat him leadoff, every at-bat will have 10 to 12 pitches at least.
He's a 46, 47-year-old
Works
guy.
the count.
But he still couldn't move on the bases too. Not as fast as he used to be, obviously.
It's impossible.
But yeah, you can't help it. Father time. But
If you're looking
he's a
for
great guy to have on
if
a
you're
team.
looking for a luxury travel agent, call Joey.
Nobody better.
Nobody better.
He's been everywhere. And if you want to climb a mountain with him,
I think he climbed Kilimanjaro.
That's right, he did.
So pretty cool. Next on the list is this kid Izzy Pruss, outfield rookie. I don't really know much about him.
nothing. He was brought in by a couple of the guys.
Another Dub Nation type guy. I don't know. Could be good, could be bad. I don't know.
We were going to bring him in last year too. Last minute he couldn't come. Happy to have you. Let's find out.
Yeah, definitely we'll find out. Next, David Paul Sutton. Last year, won a World Series with Old School. Big clutch type of kid. You don't get him. You get him late in drafts, but he's a guy that just comes up big in big spots.
When I saw him, I liked this kid because he has the knack. He's got sneaky power.
Right, that's the word. He has knack.
Yeah, and he's got sneaky power, and he's a guy who doesn't go early. So he's a guy that's going to make a lineup long.
Now we're going to
you get guys in the 8th round, but he's a guy with batting 7.
Right, he lengthens the lineup.
Lengthens the lineup.
So now we're going to get into the pitchers right now. It's very interesting, the pitchers. So
now this gets fun.
Now, first we're going to talk about the rookie, and I'm going to call him the Phenom. So last year in the summer, we had the first year of M&S minors. And most of the minors are about 18-year-old kids.
18, there's a couple of younger 16-year-olds as well.
But more or less, there were a lot of good athletes in that league.
Yes, there were.
This kid came into the league last year, and he just didn't belong on the same field as these kids. He just dominated them.
He hummed.
He was buzzing pitches.
He throws flat-out heat.
Yeah.
He seemed as though unflappable, and he
again
was great.
He's against kids. We understand that,
right?
And it's way different now. But he did pitch with a gold ball in that league, and this is not a gold ball.
So that's a big thing. I think it balanced out. It was from 43 feet as opposed to 45, 46. But like you mentioned, that gold ball is a major difference.
And we know some real hitters were going up against him. We saw that.
Yeah, so the gold ball not easy. There were some big boys in that league that could hit. Now, he did lose in the playoffs and got upset. I'll be honest, that's the truth. But he was...
So
I mean, we didn't do the awards for that league yet.
He had multiple...
I don't want to give away anything, but...
I kind of did. He's Cy Young. But he had multiple, 7, 8 strikeout games, and just kids just didn't have a clue. So he's a rookie. I think he'll be best suited to be drafted with somebody, and maybe if you want to split time. But I think he actually could hold down a full-time job.
So he's a young guy. He's skinny. He's definitely got what do you call it?
Moxie?
No, he does have that too, but he's got stamina. He's not gonna get tired from
right. Yeah, well, he's 18,
so he can just throw a million pitches.
19 actually.
Right, 19-year-old. I just saw him in Israel. He looked great, and I think he's up for the task. I think he's gonna embrace.
Did you talk about the league with him in Israel?
Not really. We had the Kotel praying, so it didn't come up. But I'm excited for him to join the league. Very happy for him to be in it. In that other league, he was the dominant ace.
Yeah, he was the phenom.
So nobody's expecting him to do that here.
No,
and I don't think he's maybe he is. I don't know. A lot of guys have the belief in themselves, but I don't think anybody's expecting him to dominate a game. So if he could just be a game manager, be the Alex Smith to a team. And if he's picked in the right spot, he could be in a great spot.
Like I said, I think if he's selected together with a Jackie Schwecke and let him mentor him,
that's a big thing
type
too.
of thing.
So he seems as though he's willing to listen, but he better be. Because if you're not willing to listen,
I'll kick his ass. So anyway, next on the list is Dan Braun. Dan Braun last year was a rookie, and he did everything. He delivered in every which way possible.
Yeah.
He was Cy Young. He was World Series MVP, and he earned himself a captaincy job this year. And he just became a name. Dan Braun. People don't
he was up there for the batting title.
Yeah,
as well.
he was. I think he was a few hits away from the batting.
He was very close. I remember him talking about it with me on the side. So Dan Braun, and you mentioned something. He pulled off at Jordan last year.
Yeah, he had the flu game.
In the finals, he had the flu. Came with his wife. She was holding bottles of water.
The
IV with Pedialyte. Maybe that was for his kid, but
that was him.
That was him. Yeah. So she came there and he fought through it. And he also won.
He had 1 run in 2 games.
But he also won cutest guy in the league. So yeah. I'm a huge Dan Braun fan.
Yeah, how could you not be? And you know what's great about him? He's unassuming, like you said, on the mound.
Right.
You don't think he's gonna buzz you away, but he has sneaky fastball.
So there's 2 ways of being a great pitcher. There's some pitchers that get some batters out before they even step into the box.
They're intimidated.
Oh, this guy can't hit him. Dan Braun doesn't necessarily give you that, but he gets good hitters out all the time. So.
Next on the list is Mark Cohen. So Mark Cohen had one of his best regular seasons he's ever had last year.
Talk about a mixed bag.
They were the number 1 seed Major League. They were unreal all year long. They get to the playoffs. The first game he pitched a shutout. Game 2 he had a lead in the 7th and he blew it.
So and then they got game 1. I think he won 1-0.
Yeah, he won 1-0.
It was not even a 7-0 game. 1-0.
He was ridiculous.
Pressure the entire 7 innings.
And then he was a few outs away of just closing the door and advancing, and then he just fell apart.
There's no other way of saying it. Of hell broke loose.
He just fell apart.
Who's not going to be this year in the league? Yankee Gutman. I think he started the rally, and his boys continued, and they just kept getting hits and walks.
It was,
and hits.
it was. I was there, and I called the game,
was
and
there. It
I
was
just
painful.
I couldn't believe what was going down.
I was having fun watching, but at the same time, I
It was painful.
cringing for them. So
And then the same thing happened in Game 3. He had a lead late, and he melted down. So they actually, he kind of was great, and then ended off down there. So I don't know where his draft stock is right now.
one thing about Mark, if there's any pitcher in the league that could take over one game and be the hardest to hit in the whole league, it's Mark.
Listen, we've seen him dominate before.
In any league, in tournaments, when he's on his game, he's the hardest to hit. But he's a conundrum that way.
Next on the list is the guy who lost back-to-back World Series as a pitcher, Menachem Diamondstein. But there's a caveat to that. 2 years ago, it was him and Joe S., and the team was really not that strong, and they lost in the World Series, and he literally carried them. He gives it his all. And then last year on 12 Angry Men, the team was a little better, but they just fell flat.
So Menachem in this Sunday morning league is a first round, probably
No question.
first rated pitcher in the league.
Right, but it's funny because we saw him in the night league was a different player.
He had a hard time though. I mean, big
Adjustment.
old ball adjusting, but Sunday morning here, lefty bat with pop, great personality, and looking forward to see what he does this year. He got drafted.
Next on the list, up-and-coming rising star in the league, Eddie Harari. Like we said, he's a captain. Eddie, he just puts work in. He pitches in every league possible. We know he's working on his game, working on secondary pitches, third pitches, fourth pitches, and he's a student of the game, and I'm very excited to watch him captain a team this year.
So Eddie Harari, love him. Really, you said
Nothing bad to say about Eddie Harari. Next, we already spoke about Yoni Sarfati, so we're going to gloss over that. Next, Jackie Schwecke. So Jackie Schwecke, this is an interesting one. He's 61 years old, but
61
every year he manages a way to make a mark on a team. Last year, that team, the Sandlot, he ended up taking over on the mound, and he actually pitched great. And they weren't winning. He had the 2 games they won, he was on the mound.
Right. He figures it out on the mound. He's been an athlete his whole life. He's a guy who could be a mentor to others.
And Beta, I think it's a perfect combination.
Right? And always happy to have Jackie in the league.
Now,
he's great.
This next guy over here, he's 2 years in the league, has absolutely dominated MSB. Year 1, it was the BKS, his first year in it, and the Magic Grits, and won the World Series. He was Cy Young. He was ridiculous. He hits like an absolute beast. And then last year on the Ducks, drafted number 1, he was the MVP last year of the league.
So Yaakov Soria is great.
Yaakov's amazing.
He's great. I think he's going to have a little bit of a down year.
I don't think so.
I think he's going to take a step back because he's not with his cousin. I think he may feel not as regular.
I already know it. We'll get into it after, but he was drafted already. I already know he's been talking to his captain nonstop off the hook since they was drafted.
That's great. That's great to hear. But Yaakov's one of the best in the league.
Yaakov, to me, I think he might be repeat MVP again.
Let's see.
Not
easy to redo.
You play 4 across, he'll still hit it over your head. He's ridiculous.
It's not easy to duplicate.
It's never easy, but it's already this is his 3rd year now. So let's see. Next on the list is Morris, older Moko Cohen. Moko, professional. You put him in right field. You're happy with him out there. I love you, Moko. I actually watched Super Bowl with him. Nobody funner to hang out with. Greatest clubhouse guy there is. I love you, Moko. I love you, Moko.
Next, sounds like a guy that anybody would want pictures to hang out with.
I really would want to. I want to hang out with him right now. I want to call him right now.
Come on down.
Next on the list is a guy that was so unassuming and so good last year. Yumi Grun. It's actually Yankee. It's his relative, his cousin or something.
So in a funny way, he was drafted already.
He was drafted already.
He was slotted with this.
So we'll talk about it afterwards. But Yumi Grun, he is like just a professional in everything that he does.
He's delicious.
He really is delicious. Next on the list, Albert Manopla has sneaky pop.
I know Albert. Albert in right field, I remember he could get the job done. Looks a little scary sometimes, but he did have a lot of pop.
Always has pop.
Yeah.
Next on the list, Captain David Sabag, rookie captain year, or maybe not, I'm not sure, won the World Series last year. David, we love David. He is literally one of the faces of the league, and we love you, Dave, and this is a big challenge for him, I think, this year.
Yes.
This is his first year on Moneyball. He was with Stephen Gindy. Last year on Old School was with Stephen Gindy. This year, he's flying solo.
So I love that he's in a new challenge. I think if he was with Stephen, you want to win always. It's always fun to win. You feel great winning no matter if it's with the same team. But if you have that challenge and it changes, you want to do it without somebody, it's fun.
So
There's something to it.
He grew into a veteran. That's what he grew into.
That's what he's done. He's a lefty, and he's in a funny, weird way, he could do what DT does, like, in the field.
Yeah.
He can play anywhere. You put him at second, in the outfield. He can play center. He can play right, left. So that, and I think that really helps him in the draft because he can do what he wants with himself.
Next on the list is actually a really interesting player. Jacob Ayala last year won the World Series. He had an up and down year. He had some weeks where he was ridiculous. He actually played left field a bunch for Old School.
Wow, so he's getting married very soon.
Yeah, March 15th is his wedding.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, wedding is soon. Mabruk, Jake, we love you.
So happy.
Last year he had the enjoyment of beating his brother Richie in the World Series.
Yes, so now Jacob brings swag.
Yeah, he has
That
swag.
he brings. He's got swag.
Great word for Jake.
Now, he's got I think he keeps getting a little bit better.
He's improving.
We thought he was going to be great right away, and I think he's doing it in the way of steps.
He's only 20.
Right.
He's
So
not like he's 30.
we thought he was going to explode on the scene, but I do see him getting better and better. His glove is good. He's only going to get better at the plate. So I think he's a guy to look out for. He's a play infield
I agree.
anywhere.
Next on the list, rookie Simcha Buff, infielder, shortstop, third base. I'm not sure. Don't know much about Simcha.
From what I hear, he's happy-go-lucky.
He's a happy guy. He's Simcha.
That's right.
Again, I don't know much about Simcha. We'll see. We're very curious to find out. From what I hear, he doesn't have much range at shortstop, but if it's hit in his vicinity, he'll pick it. He'll
He
pick it.
plays short? I don't even know.
I think so. I think middle infield. Next on the list is Captain Morty Shrem.
So Morty is
Always
a
improving.
slick fielder, getting better and better. He won shortstop. So
Listen, he's a captain. He's going to be shortstop. Next on the list is Mickey Epstein. So Mickey was never actually drafted in this league.
Right now, this is a
He
great
was a
guy to talk
sub
about.
for back-to-back years for the whole year.
If Mickey only knows how much he's talked about
Mickey.
within these captain and commissioner chats.
He is the conundrum of what is Mickey? Is he great? Or I'll tell you the truth. Last year on the Cucumbers, he was ridiculous. He was amazing.
So I think he's going to get drafted pretty high.
The year before, he was terrible.
It was awful, right?
Yeah.
So I think being on the team, being comfortable with the team, maybe helps him. And let's see. He's 30 years old. He can play anywhere on the field.
Mickey's a young guy. He's actually a nutritionist. He's actually a health coach also, yeah.
Oh, I know Mickey.
Fit by Mick. He worked with Beth Warren.
Well, let's see. He measured my waist like 4 years ago, Mickey.
Okay,
He had like a red beard.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I know you, Mick. That's pretty
He's
funny.
a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yes, I was skinnier then. Sorry.
Next, you need to go to Mickey now. Next on the list is Benji Eskenazi, also a 5 towns guy. It's really good.
That's very funny.
That wasn't lying.
Sorry.
Middle infielder Benji Eskenazi. Also, I hear he's a pretty good glove at shortstop. I don't know. I've never actually seen him, just based on scouting
Who
reports.
told you to take shortstop?
He did.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
For what that's worth.
I'd love the opportunity for him.
Next on the list is obviously one of the veterans, one of the best players in the league, Stephen Gindy. Usually it's his Gold Glove to lose.
One of the most quiet guys in the league.
Yeah,
you
never hear him open his mouth. It's amazing.
Not even a peep.
But bat's always on the ball, goes the other way.
I was being sarcastic, right?
No,
About him not talking?
no, he's a very quiet guy.
Oh, he's quiet.
No, come on, Stevens.
Steven,
Without
I love you, man.
where would we be? Where would this league be without Stephen?
And
Gindy?
Steven's one of the guys carrying it through.
I'm not joking. Without
Yeah,
Stephen Gindy, the
100%.
league will not be
And
where it is today.
He plays shortstop unbelievably, uses all fields.
He is,
and he's one of the best on-field coaches in the entire
I can
league
tell you,
over the leagues.
Listen,
Over the
last
years.
year him and Sabag were together on that team, and also he captained that team on field like no one else before.
He loves positioning players, loves moving them over, gets in the other batters' heads by doing so, does his homework, listens, understands his players, and you know it's fun. Some people get annoyed playing against him, but when you're on his team,
You love
he's
him.
the best.
I played with him for 3 years. I
best
love
guy
playing
to
with him.
play with. He's such a pro teammate. We have a few players and we're all done.
Next guy, actually waiting on some doctor results. Jack Harari. He has a torn labrum in his hip, and he had a cortisone.
Labrum in your hip.
I think so, something like
Labrum's
that.
in your shoulder.
I think something in his hip. They told me something in his
Well,
hip. He had a
contact
cortisone
doctors.
in his hip, and hopefully he gets well soon. He's usually a top 3 round type
Yeah,
guy.
he plays shortstop,
A lot of
good
pop.
hitter.
And he also, thank you very much, Jack. I want to say thank you very much for the hospitality you showed me in the city when I was when I had a baby. Jack, I'll never forget that. You're the best.
We hope you
Next,
feel good, man.
yeah, I'm in. Next on the list is veteran Teddy Ishak.
Here's a guy that everybody would love to have. Now, Teddy,
I think he's going
very shortly,
Yeah.
very shortly. Teddy plays shortstop and gets the job done week in and week out. And he's become, I know it's so funny to say that 47, but he's become a leader.
Yeah, bro.
And yeah, that's right, bro, exactly. Last year, Sammy Esses, along with Teddy Ishak on that night league team,
Yeah.
carried that team to the playoffs. And it was with their leadership, and Teddy's a great player.
Next on the list is an up-and-coming shortstop. He's really improving year after year in Albert Richter. We see he also has swag.
It's funny. We watched this guy mature in front of our eyes last year.
He could play.
He was put in a league. It wasn't the morning. It was the night league on a team with where he wasn't so comfortable. Took him 3 or 4 weeks, being frustrated sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up getting game-winning hits.
He was semifinals player of the week.
Player of the week.
Yeah.
Making plays, clutch hits, and he's got pop, and he's got the look. He's in great shape, and I think he's only getting better and better. I'm a big fan of Albert Richter.
Next on the list is Ricky Schwecke. So Ricky, listen, he's a young veteran. He's 26, been in the league. I actually was his teammate 5 years ago when he was a kid.
Good third baseman.
Even, you know what? I'd actually seen him play shortstop.
Yeah,
but
so
best suited at third base.
There's a lot of options at short this year, but some not as known as usual.
Yeah.
Which, if you're a good captain and you're searching, maybe you take 2 of those guys.
Yeah, well, let's round out this list with Ralph Whamma Shamma.
Oh, talk about a shortstop.
He actually could play, and he could pick it at shortstop.
Yeah, he really can. Offensively, I think he does have to maybe get some tutelage from his own dad.
Yeah.
His father was one of the best hitters in the league.
So Whamma actually has sneaky pop. He's tall, he's lanky.
Like I said, I haven't seen him hit, but he's a damn good shortstop.
Yeah, Whamma's the man, by the way. I'm a big fan of Whamma.
He'll get drafted, and he's very funny.
And actually,
have on a team.
that rounds out the draft list, and that's going to segue us into the first round, which was actually selected of this draft. We're going to start with this blockbuster trade that was made.
Yeah, let's do this part quick.
Yeah, really
draft
quick.
to be done.
100%. First round, first pick overall was Elliott Mann, and he traded down and gave Morty Shrem the pick, and now he's the 5th pick, and he traded up a bunch of spots in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and with the first overall pick.
He could say that 30 more times, and I still don't know what the hell he was talking about.
Okay,
But
and
either way,
first overall pick, Morty Shrem selected Joe Ciferati.
so Joseph Ferrari went first of all. That's all I needed to hear.
So, and guess what? He has started off with a shortstop and a center fielder.
That's right.
Great start for
That's
Morty
why that
Shrem.
works for Morty. There's enough pitchers in the league that he's going to get one, and he set up the middle. He set
Then
up the middle.
Sammy Estes was waiting in the wings for number 2, sitting pretty. He took Stephen Gindy. It's a can't miss pick over there.
Didn't even think. He sent the pick in before the other one was done.
There you go. And then 3rd overall, David Sabag was with a challenge. He goes, I want my pitcher, because he said, if I don't get my pitcher now, I'm not going to get him in the wraparound. So he took a guy that's always in the World Series, took Menachem Diamondstein, can't fault the pick. Bat him 4, you're on the mound. In this league, we know Menachem is always going to perform.
So David is in a comfortable position that he's a chameleon. He could play center.
Listen, the reason why he didn't go with who I thought he was going to go is because he wants to play center field.
Right, or he has the option of playing center.
Yeah, and he ended up, next pick, Eddie Harari, saw an opportunity to grab, to me, probably the best position player in the draft in Yankee Itzkowitz.
So Eddie Harari with this pick set up half his outfield.
Yeah, because along with Itzkowitz came with Yumi Grun.
Right, so he got 2/3 of it.
Yeah.
And set up with Yankee, so he's got his 3-hitter, center fielder, his right fielder, and his pitcher.
Yeah.
So he's in a very good spot.
And then with the 5th pick overall, the 6th pick overall, Hank DeWeck ended up taking Natan Safdie. Don't mind the pick. Actually liked the pick a lot.
Again, all these guys did the right thing because
It was kind of chalk at that point.
Yeah, one of the key positions are set. Aaron Dweck, maybe the best hitter in the league.
Yeah, and now he's a center fielder.
Now, so he's got a 3-4 in the lineup, and the center field is set. So Aaron's in good position as well.
And then Dan Braun took his buddy Ellie Koningsberg, playing with him for years.
Right.
And Ellie, we know, could play center field.
They won the World Series together last year.
Yes.
Koningsberg was a thought because he had a down year last year.
Yeah.
It was his rookie year. I think he's going to have an uptick here. I think he's going to be better. And I think all these teams, nobody made a mistake early.
And then no more picks were made after that, but we know Dan Braun selects himself, and Hank DeWeck select himself, and now on the clock is Elliott Mann, and we're going to commence the draft very soon, and we're actually going to give you more coverage on that later, but that basically wraps up the entire MSB scene.
That was one heck of a long show. I hope you enjoyed it. And wow, we got a long season and an exciting season in front of us.
I'm pumped.
Really, really exciting. We do have an award show that we're going to be shortly announcing. We didn't pan out the exact day. It's going to happen within the next week or 2.
Yeah.
A lot of awards to be given out for MSB. We're going to be announcing those as well for the kids, for the Night League and the Nest Night League. So can't wait. Softball's in the air means all of us are smiling more than we were 3 weeks ago. The weather, still freezing cold, but We're looking forward to
So
softball.
I think, listen, we have 7 teams in the league in MSB right now, which means there will be a bye week. We're going to try
Right.
to incorporate as many night games as
I'm
possible.
looking at that. Not
Trying to.
guaranteed, but it may happen.
And then also on top of that, what was I going to say on
Oh,
that
so
one?
wait. For those that aren't familiar and didn't play at night and only play Sunday morning MSB, the way it does work, just to round it all off, 7th team and the 6th team are knocked out.
Correct.
Sorry, go home. We'll see you. But the 5 seed plays the 4 seed
In a
1
1-game, 9-inning
exactly.
wild card.
And in our experience, it never fails.
It's always crazy.
It's the craziest game ever. It's a 9-inning, crazy slugfest stuff. I don't know what. It's always
and
wild.
then waiting in the wings, the number 1 seed has
The 1 seed.
a choice
Well, that
to
was
pick
the choice.
either to pick the winner of that or
Right. Or the 2-3. So, very excited to bring this format to Brooklyn. And I think
It's only gonna help things.
Oh, big time. And Sunday mornings are going to be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward.
Can't wait to see you all out there. Have a great night. Enjoy the winter. Get in shape. Before you know it,
Hit
it's
the
March
cages.
29th, opening day.
Let's go, baby.
And you, Steve.